Hi guys, welcome back to Fairies Tutorials. In this session, we're looking at the subject CSEC Food, Nutrition, and Health. We're focusing on the solutions for question 5 from the exam year 2023. Now, let's take a look at this question. It reads, list 3 factors to be considered when purchasing a stove or cooker. 3 marks. List 3 ways to conserve energy when using an electric cooker. 3 marks. Use the illustration in figure 3 to identify types of accidents that may occur in the kitchen and state one example of each type of accident. 6 marks. And finally, Jenny is responsible for making 300 tea plates for a function. Explain 2 ways in which Jenny may achieve efficiency in the kitchen. And that part of the question is worth 4 marks. Now, it is important to note that question 5 normally comes from section 5 of your syllabus, which is entitled Kitchen Design and Equipment Management. Now, let us look at some solutions to this question. All right. Now, first up, we have list 3 factors to be considered when purchasing a stove or a cooker. So things that you can look out for are size and capacity. Now, the size of the stove or cooker is a crucial factor to consider based on your cooking needs and kitchen space. Consider the number of burners or elements you require based on your typical cooking habits or also the size of the family. Also, we have to assess the oven capacity if persons frequently prepare large meals or baked oversized dishes. So we have to consider those stuff when we're purchasing a cooker, right? And next factor that can be considered is the materials used in manufacturing. Now, the choice of materials can significantly impact the stove's performance, durability, energy efficiency, and even safety concerns, right? So whatever material is chosen, we have to ensure that there is durability, right? And also heat conductivity. So it doesn't take forever to heat up, but it is so efficient, the material that is used, that it can conduct the heat energy and as soon as possible, right? Another factor that may be considered is the features, special features, and functions. Now, it is very important to evaluate the features and functions offered by different stove or cooker models. And we do this to ensure that they align with the person's cooking preference style or their lifestyle. Now, some of the features that are ideal may include oven setting, where you look for a stove with multiple cooking modes, such as convection baking, broiling, and even self-cleaning options. Also, you may look at the control panel. Consider whether the person prefers traditional knobs or digital touch controls for operating the stove. You also look at safety features as well, and also ease of cleaning is very important. So we choose stove with removable burners or caps or smooth ceramic glasses that are easy to clean, right? So you are required to list 3 factors to be considered when purchasing a stove. So you list your 3 factors and you get your 3 marks there. You don't really need to expound because the question is just required for you to list. So just listing size and capacity, material use, or even features and functions would be sufficient. If you get a question like this for you to list, then that would be sufficient. Now, if you get to state or explain or describe, then that would be a different case where you're required to explain a little more on each factor. Next, list 3 ways to conserve energy when using an electric cooker. And this question is worth 3 marks. You're also listing again, so there's no need to expound on your point because you're just required to list. Good. But just in case you get a question that tells us to describe, explain, outline, or state, it is important for us to have knowledge of how to put our words together so that we're better able to answer the questions to our best of our ability. So the first one says match burner and pot sizes. So very important. We have to ensure that the size of the pot or pan matches the burner size on the electric cooker to reduce heat loss and also to maximize energy efficiency. Now, mismatched size can lead to significant energy wastage. So if you have a small pot on a large burner, then of course you know a lot of energy is being wasted in a case like that. Another thing that we can do is keep lids on while we're cooking. Now, developing a habit of keeping lids on your pots while cooking helps retain heat and moisture. And what this does is to allow you to cook at a lower temperature and reduce energy consumption by up to 66% on an electric cooker. So very important, whether it be a gas cooker or electric cooker, we should always practice to keep the lids on while we are cooking. Another way we could conserve is just to reduce overall cooking time. Now you plan ahead. So we talk about pre-preparation. You plan ahead. You defrost food in the refrigerator before cooking. Avoid opening the oven door frequently and use energy efficient cooking methods to minimize cooking time and also to save the energy when using an electric cooker. Another bonus conservation method is to cook multiple dishes together. So whenever possible, cook multiple dishes simultaneously in your electric cooker to make more efficient use of the appliance. For example, if we're using the oven compartment, we could be baking a cake while we're baking some cookies, or while we're roasting some potatoes or some meat kind, right? So we try to cook multiple dishes together. So you were only required to list. So each listing that you have, you would have get your 3 marks each. Good. Next part. Use the illustration in figure 3 to identify types of accidents that may occur in the kitchen and state one example of each type of accident. Right. Now, figure 3 is showcasing a daycare center where you have the children there in the kitchen. A lot is going on. And you see the lady up there reaching up to take something from the cupboard, which is not safe as well, because what she should have done is to use a step ladder, something that is more sturdy. She's stepping towards the edge of the table and it can just even flip and she fall over, right? So there's a lot going on, but the question only require you to identify 3 and give the examples, right? So let us look at some things. So first accident that we're going with is slip and falls. Now an example of how this can happen. So the spilled or wet floor could cause someone to slip and fall, whether it be the child or the worker. And next thing that could happen is electrocution. As you can see the socket here on the floor, right? It is close to the water, the spilled liquid that is on the floor as well. So exposed sockets on the ground near to the water could lead to electrocution if a child attempts to plug or unplug an appliance with their wet hands. Good. Another accident that could happen is burns and scalds. Now, the child touching the hot surface on the stove. So this child over here, she's reaching for the handle of the pot. It could be something frying. As you can see, it's a skillet. It may have hot grease in there. Oh my gosh. So as you can see, it's a whole lot that is going on there. Now, also, this other child over here is pulling on the table linen, and if you notice above the table linen, you see teacups and you also see a teapot. Now, possibly these items could contain hot liquid, and then that child could also get burns and scalds as well. Now, another bonus that we can look at is fire, right? So this child sitting over here seems as if he's playing with some form of lighter or match. As you can see, the little flames right there. And also another hazard too is this dish towel above the open flame that can also cause a fire as well. So I want to say to this lady, get it together, ma'am, get it together. All right, good. Now let's look at the next part to this question. It says, Jenny is responsible for making 300 tea plates for a function. Explain 2 ways in which Jenny may achieve efficiency in the kitchen. Now, the first way that we're going to look at is preparation and organizing, right? So pre-preparation, so when you pre-prep, right? Mise en place, which is a French term for organizing or putting things into place. So we speak about pre-preparation or prep work so often. Even on when you're writing your time plans, you will see pre-preparation or prep, and you put whatever that you would do to make the work easier on the given day, right? Now, Jenny can achieve efficiency by organizing her workspace before starting the task. This includes gathering all necessary ingredients and equipment, prepping the ingredients in advance, and setting up workstations for different tasks, such as cutting, mixing, and also assembling, right? Another suggestion is she could utilize energy-saving kitchen tools and appliances. Jenny can make use of kitchen tools that will expedite the cooking process, meaning that things will go faster, right? So for example, using a food processor for chopping vegetables, an electric mixer for whipping cream, or a dishwasher for cleaning up can significantly speed up the overall production of the tea plates. And another suggestion that we have here is time plan or time management, right? So Jenny should create a timeline or schedule to allocate specific time slots for each task involved in the making of the tea plates. So just as when you're doing your SBAs or the internal and external, and you're required to do a time plan, right? It's the same thing that we're saying here is time management. Now, by managing her time efficiently or effectively, she can ensure that all plates are ready on time without feeling rushed or without feeling overwhelmed, right? So this question is worth 6 marks. So you were supposed to explain 2 ways. You got 3. And remember, when you're explaining, you put your point and then you expound on your point. Good. Now that is it for question 5, guys. And as always, good luck. Awesome. You've made it to the end of the session. Please remember to subscribe, turn on your post notification bells so you can be notified when there's another upload. Most importantly, share with persons who you know will find this information useful. Thank you for making it Fairies Tutorials.